All right,
Oh, timer.
ready?
3, 2, 1.
Remember back in 2020 when the Black Lives Matter movement began to erupt because of police brutality? Imagine if all the police brutality got worse because of laziness and carelessness in the division. If the use of AI technology in law enforcement is increased, then the country will begin to tear itself apart once again. The country is already fighting for unequal pay as it is, and now they expect us to pay more so we can fund the police that we dislike anyways. This is just going to make it easier to be a police officer, so it would create more laziness in the force. We don't want police officers lacking off and being lazy. We would have to begin paying more money in taxes in order to give the police force more money to afford better technology and to use AI. M. Davis in the Economic of Impact of Law Enforcement and Technology says how we would have to pay 5 or 6% more in taxes in each and every purchase of our daily lives. Not everyone can comfortably afford to pay increased tax rates in order to fund the police. This could cause an economic burden, and we don't want to see that today. In order to solve this issue in the police office, the government would have to start taking more money out of other movements, like money for homeless or money for road fixtures, in order to cover the cost for the force. My second point is that with the use of AI, police will have to do less work, less investigations, and less research in order to solve issues. This promotes far more laziness in the division, and they would have to rely on their technology way more. M. Johnson, in The Artificial Intelligence and the Future of Policing, speaks on this. He says how police officers are already beginning to get lazy when they do their investigations, as they just use AI to discover things on suspects. Police are going to become lazy and put far less work into their jobs, creating a more dangerous environment for the people. People can easily be racially profiled with this based on one's community. Police should be required, in order to solve this issue, police should be required to take multiple steps before apprehending and acting on a criminal case, not just using AI to find the suspect and immediately arresting them or causing them to be guilty. The addition of use of AI in law enforcement is bad. It forces people to pay more money to fund something that could potentially harm them, and it also promotes laziness in the police force. It's causing ripples in public safety. If AI continues to be used in law enforcement, then the country will begin to tear itself apart. This could easily start large issues and political fights in our society, and no one wants to pay for something that can easily racially profile them and potentially get them hurt. Do you want to go to jail for murder when you're actually just sitting at home playing Rocket League? I didn't think so.
Wouldn't you enjoy living in a country that is constantly protected? I know I would, and that's why we can't ban AI in law enforcement agencies. It has been proven that AI technology helps solve 13% more murders and 20% more in violent crimes. The advancement of AI technology in the field of facial recognition would better the safety of all Americans and lessen our crime rates. Two main reasons why I believe we should increase facial recognition is in order to help find missing people better, and it also protects businesses against theft. People go missing quite often and some are never found. With the addition of better facial recognition, it would be super easy to find missing people. Cameras would pick up on when and where they were in a matter of seconds rather than doing a full investigation. And in addition, protecting businesses from theft would in turn boost the economy because less stuff would be getting stolen as constantly. Increased AI can better society by increasing the amount of missing people found and the speed they are found. With cross-referencing databases, police can take the missing person's photo and compare it to records like mugshots, passport photos, or other public documents to look for a match. This can be really useful if the person has been arrested, traveled to another country, or appeared in public places where their identity wasn't immediately recognized. By checking these databases, law enforcement can quickly narrow down potential leads and figure out where the person might be. Now, I know that not everybody wants to be seen and tracked constantly, and putting these cameras everywhere would threaten everybody's privacy and imposes on their personal freedom. But this facial recognition will be implemented in places that already have cameras in public, like stores, public transit, stoplights, and much more. Most people are for the most part okay with being filmed in order to prevent theft and whatnot. With the implementation of facial recognition in these places, I don't think it would affect anybody negatively. It would just decrease the rate of time. Now, secondly, I believe facial recognition can be used to prevent business theft. If a business has a facial recognition system connected to a database of known shoplifters or individuals with a history of theft, It can alert security personnel when one of these individuals enters the store. This allows staff to monitor the person closely and prevent theft before it even happens. Some facial recognition systems can also track and analyze behaviors. For example, if a person seems to linger in an aisle or act suspiciously, the system can flag their behavior, allowing security to intervene before a theft occurs. Now, I know that some people are worried about AI's ability to tell the difference between certain types of people, but they just need to do more tests with a wider variety of subjects. When the program was in the testing phase, predominantly white males were used when creating the system and recognizing faces. Due to this, it works poorly on people of color. In order to change this, more tests just need to be held with a wider variety of subjects until it's released to the public fully, and everything should work out perfectly. With the addition of facial recognition, missing people can be found quicker and less theft would occur in business environments. The advancements of AI technology in the field of facial recognition would better the safety of all Americans and lessen our crime rate. Without this advancement, crime and bad things will continue to happen to people. Do you want our country to improve or stay the same? The choice is yours.
So my opponent's first point was how it's easier to identify missing people. Alrizia Milani, in a review of artificial intelligence techniques in traffic measurement, spoke on this. She said how cameras can be used but can only see a limited amount. It's enough to track people who are visible in a car, but if someone's hidden away in a trunk or moved out of the direct line of sight, then they can't be traced. The only thing that they would be able to find is their last seen location. So if AI is used in cameras in places where they already are, it's not going to be much beneficial to people who can't be seen when they're being stolen, or maybe they're dead in a river in the middle of nowhere. You can't find them because there's no cameras there anyways. So you're just paying more money for cameras that people are already surveying, watching, because that's what security is. That's what we pay security people for. My second point was that facial identification recognition can be used to identify theft. Claire Garvey spoke on this in her writing Perpetual Lineup. People can be identified very easily, but if one's wearing a mask, it's no good. Only facial features can be recognized, which is common in multiple millions of people. This also leads to the issue of racial profiling, which can be reduced through the addition of new implementations of AI, but it's still an issue of racial profiling, which we don't want. And it also creates the issue of like joint issues in a community. So if someone looks the same, maybe like if you're a Muslim and you have to wear certain things for your religion, then you're immediately profiled with any other person who looks anywhere similar to you.
Firstly, I wanted to oppose my opponent's tax argument. Increases in taxes is something that happens every year due to inflation. I don't think making people pay higher taxes for more protection shouldn't be much of a problem. I personally think it's worth the money, and most people are already paying those additions in their taxes each year, so it wouldn't really be that big of a difference. And secondly, I wanted to talk about making the police force lazy with the addition of AI. I believe the addition of AI would take a large load off police's time. Some may think that it will make them lazy, but they would in reality just have more time to tackle other problems that get looked over constantly. I don't think they get lazy because they still have to follow rules in a workplace, one of which is getting your work done, and the government wouldn't fund or pay them to do nothing. Thirdly, I wanted to say that AI would be more thorough than regular police officers. Computers and cameras can be in any place at any time. Not every area can be watched by officers. This would help lower crime rates in sketchy areas. Now, I know my opponent said that this wouldn't be helpful in scenarios where they're trapped in cars or in lakes and whatnot, but what would happen is the cameras would be able to track when they were taken as soon as they were taken, and people would be able to respond immediately, as opposed to police officers patrolling the area.
While my opponent put up many good views, I still believe that AI should be banned in law enforcement. We cannot know 100% that it will do anything if it's implemented into using in cameras every single day. while it might be easier to identify people in theft, I feel like paying more money would not solve this issue. We would have to pay more money in order for it to be implemented in every single camera in the United States or in the world. Taxing, my opponent also said how taxing is already in place and how we already pay money in order for this to happen, but AI is also not super used in law enforcement already, so we would end up having to pay more than what we have to pay already. Racial profiling is also a large issue that my opponent never mentioned. So I feel like if we want racial profiling to come to an end, I feel like AI should be removed.